If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
This mythology, Paul's a connoisseur. Sarah has an interest, but it's all Greek to her. From Cronus's kids' weird childhood to what's going down in Hades' hood. These fables are bizarre but good. It's myth understood.
Sarah.
Yep.
We have a shirt. We have a new shirt.
Why?
Well, because I asked my friend Alessa Krieger, or Alessa K, as she sometimes is known as.
K. Alessa.
K. Alessa. To draw up an idea I had, and she executed it brilliantly. It's about the forms of Zeus.
Oh, no.
And all the forms that he showed himself as to impregnate all the mortal ladies.
Where can I find this shirt?
Oh, you can go to our shop.
We have a shop?
We have a shop, yeah.
Where that at?
At dragonwagonshop.com.
/shop/shop?
Nope, it's not. You don't have to keep slashing that shop.
We're slashing our way into this episode.
Yeah, we sure are. Like a couple of swashbucklers.
Arr.
Arr. I thought we could use today's episode to what?
We can't use it. We're going to lose it.
I thought we could use this episode to talk about some myths that were dropped along the way.
Oh, how do we know about them then?
Well, they're myths that I dropped along the way.
Oh.
That were like in between as I was talking about other things, and maybe they got briefly covered, but I didn't really dive into them.
They sound like lettuce.
They are, what? Why are they like lettuce?
Like in a sandwich, I'd pull out the lettuce.
You pull out the lettuce?
Yeah.
Lettuce is so good for
No.
you, though. No?
I don't want it.
Okay.
So let's listen to some lettuce.
Let's listen to some lettuce. Here we go. I thought we would start with the origin of Delphi.
That's the dolphin.
No, that's Delphinus.
Damn it.
So Delphi, as in like the Oracle of Delphi.
Oh, now I know.
Now you know.
I just knew a dolphin.
So you may recall that Apollo
Oh.
was born on the Greek island of Delos to his mother Leto in succession after his twin sister Artemis. I may have left out that he grew to adulthood in how many days, Sarah?
3.
4.
Ah.
But you were under the price, and so you still get
still
called
get
up on
it.
stage by Bob Barker.
That one guy overbid. He said 5.
Despite this, Leto and Poseidon were who had raised the island up for Leto so that she could safely give birth. They were afraid of letting Apollo and Artemis leave, even after they were 4-day-old adults.
They're 4 whole days. Let them go. Apply to college.
They were afraid of Hera's vengeance upon discovering that these gods were born.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Nothing really happens to them, though, huh?
Yeah, but Apollo wasn't having that. He was
a grown-ass man.
Yeah, he was 4 days old. He time to see the world.
Yeah.
So he found his inspiration by looking out to sea and thinking, God, how am I going to leave this island? And
Been stuck here my whole life.
lo and behold, a pack of dolphins were swimming
I
in the
knew
water.
there'd be dolphins.
And they were like, hey, look at us. We're having so much fun. Look at it.
Can I skate on you like a...
No, ew, that'd be weird.
I'm going to stick my foot in your blowhole.
Stop it. No,
And,
we're having fun out here. Stay away.
Well, I'm going to skate on you.
You sure aren't. Apollo was inspired by the sight of these beautiful dolphins, and so he decided to just try real hard. I mean, he's 4 days old. He doesn't really know the extent of his godly abilities, but he shapeshifted and slowly became a dolphin and joined this pack of dolphins in the water.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and dolphins love to fuck, so I bet they were fucking.
That probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they love it.
So, to escape this island, he did change himself into a dolphin. And as soon as he started swimming with the school of dolphins, like he was probably glowing and singing and being, the god of light and music, but as a dolphin. And so immediately he stood out like a sore thumb dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
And Hera was looking down from Mount Olympus, and she thought, motherfucker, I'm going to kill that dolphin. I know that's a god dolphin. I know that's a god that was just born, that is illegitimate. That's a bastard baby, not my child. And so her eyes started to crackle with lightning and thunder poured
she
out
gets
of
lightning too?
Sure.
All right.
And she created a terrible storm upon the high seas, which really does feel like it's both Zeus and Poseidon's jurisdiction. But
Yeah.
she's a goddess. She can do what she wants.
Well, I guess.
And so she creates this terrible storm on the high seas.
Yeah, because dolphins are always dying from storms.
Exactly. And this storm mostly just created havoc for the local fishermen.
Yeah.
And so Apollo, in the rare case of not being a selfish jerk, saw a ship in trouble and decided to help.
Well, he's not even a week old. It takes a week for the sociopathicness to really kick in.
Yeah, that was his secondary mutation.
Yeah.
So he sees this ship in trouble, and he leaps up out of the water and throws himself down on the deck of the vessel. And he, all the fishermen are like, "Whoa! A dolphin just landed on our ship!" And the dolphin is flopping around uselessly for a second before standing up on its hind fins, and then it walks over and starts to steer the ship with
as a dolphin.
As a dolphin,
oh god!
Starts to steer the ship with his flippers. Why did I leave this one out? But it's
the least creepy one of all of Apollo's, so I'll take it.
He steers the ship with his flippers, and this dolphin is now the captain. And the dolphin takes them to the mainland, and the storm clears because Hera's like, "Shit, my storm failed."
Well, I tried. Yeah, I'm gonna try harder on the next illegitimate kid, but I give up.
It was the weirdest thing that any of the fishermen had ever seen. After reaching the mainland, Apollo transforms back into his naked adult human form, and I can only assume that he helicoptered his dick at the fishermen in order to say goodbye.
Why didn't he transform on the ship? I thought he had a problem, like transforming. I know how to do it.
In the heat of the moment, he thought, "I'll stay as a dolphin."
Wow. This is a kid's movie.
It is.
Yeah, like a 90s one. It couldn't be made now, but I could see it like a Disney Channel original.
Yeah, with him being naked and helicoptering his dick at the end.
Well, again, you remember. You remember what was the Witch Town?
The Witch Town?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, there's
the made for Disney movie.
The made for Disney movie about the Witch Town
with Debbie Reynolds.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, there was a sequel.
I don't remember this. Wow. Someone's going to have to comment on what this Witch Town movie Sarah is talking about is.
And there's definitely some penis helicoptering. Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf was in it too?
No, just for that scene.
Oh. So after saying goodbye to the fishermen, Apollo set off to the nearest establishment, which was Pytho. And Pytho...
Pytho Hut.
There was a Pytho Hut there. It was a combination Taco Bell and Pytho Hut. Pytho was the home of an important oracle who was dedicated to his grandmother, Apollo's grandmother.
Oh, Gaia.
Gaia, yeah. Or actually great grandmother. But Pytho was guarded by Gaia's child, and thus this would be Apollo's great uncle, a monstrous python. And I likely covered this in the Twin Gods episode about the murdering of Python, but specifically, Python either guarded the oracle of Gaia so that no one could get by, or he spouted his own predictions because he saw himself as a Miss Cleo type and wanted to make a quick buck.
Miss Cleo type. Let's roll with
that. In either case, Apollo pulled out his bow and arrow and he shot Python full of arrows, killing him, and took the shrine and the oracle for himself. And so if he had this bow and arrow, though, you can only assume that as a dolphin, he also had a bow and arrow in his
I'm
back.
seeing it. Well, I also saw a little captain's hat.
Yeah, with the little anchor on the front.
There's a movie in the 90s with that, too.
Yeah.
Promise you.
So Gaia was shook, and the name of the site was changed to Delphi because Apollo had been a dolphin for so long, and he wanted to honor dolphins in the renaming of this temple because dolphin is Delphi in Greek.
Okay. So it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Apollo.
Yeah.
Great.
So Apollo, dolphins, Oracle of Delphi.
Okay, great. Yeah. This is a great one. This is where we end the episode?
No.
On a high note?
On a high note. No, it gets actually I think the next little piece that I'm going to tell you is the high note. I'm going to tell you about the spring of Kanathos.
Water.
It is water. What else does it make you think of?
Oh, Kanathos. Beautiful land.
What do you think happens at the spring of Kanathos?
You get your virginity back.
Wait, are you serious?
Is that what happens?
How did you know that?
Because it is an important theme in Greek mythology, being a virgin.
That's actually such an incredible guess. I can't believe that. Okay, we don't have to cover this then.
No, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. So,
well, we can't be having sex. Go to the river.
So I was gonna begin saying that because there was absolutely no way I thought you'd think that that was right. Because that's such a shot in the dark.
It's not if you're looking at the themes of Greek mythology, which is the only thing I've really picked up on.
Okay, and so all right, let me see then if you get this right. Who specifically uses the spring of Kanathos?
Oh, I don't know.
No, come on. You had such a brilliant guess. I'm really...
Well, who had sex?
I don't know.
It's not Zeus. He's not using it. Is it one of the main gods, like Artemis?
It's one of the main gods, yeah.
Artemis, Athena. Fucked. Maybe it's Aphrodite.
It's not Aphrodite.
Keeping it.
It's Hera.
Maybe he wants me to mix things up, keep it fresh. Going after these young virgins.
Exactly. I sort of wrote this one up like in related tales of Hera behaving bizarrely because she just created that storm. Mm-hmm. Here's a myth that helps paint a full portrait of exactly who Hera was.
And then she put on a cheerleading outfit. She just tried to spice it up in the bedroom.
Every year, Hera would go to the spring at Kanathos in Nauplia, where she'd have a nice, lovely, relaxing bath. But while she was having fun, relaxing and bathing and just having a spa day, she'd also magically restore her virginity. This meant that Hera was perpetually a virgin, no matter how many people, including her own husband that she went to bed with. Additionally...
Wait, what do you mean yearly? So she only had sex with Zeus annually?
It was her yearly tradition. But additionally, Hera's worshippers would take little idols of her and bathe them, which would also actively restore her virginity throughout the year.
Well, of course.
And people would do this before major social events as an act of reverence. Like it'd be like before they got married, like the bride might bathe the statue of Hera to restore Hera's virginity so that she would have blessings on her wedding day. God,
that sucks every time. So because, hymen, whatever, but what you're restoring when you restore virginity, is it mentally it's the first time ever?
Yeah, see,
that's self-conscious.
That's what I'm thinking is since
am I doing it right? Does that feel good?
Since clinical virginity is like a made up thing.
Yeah.
That it has to be mental.
Each time. Well, no wonder he's running around. She never knows what the fuck she's doing down there.
My wife has no idea what's happening. She's just all...
Yeah.
I saw you. You were having sex with that woman. You don't even know what sex is.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good context for Hera and Zeus' sex life.
In researching this story of the Spring of Kanathos, I found that Kanathos exists to this day as a fountain that is in a nunnery. And comparisons are drawn between this site and the site of renewal, which is the birthplace of Aphrodite, which is in Paphos, Cyprus. And it's weird when there's like a place in the Mediterranean where it's like, this is where a god was born. Like, or maybe it's not that weird because all things. But I found out that in Paphos, Cyprus, there's to this day, well, not to this day, more recently, there's been a water park constructed. Yes. Called the Aphrodite Water Park.
But that's not where you regain your virginity.
No,
that'd be great.
That's just the site of.
It'd be hilarious.
That's just the site of like the birth of Aphrodite, the birth of Venus.
Oh, so when you're gushing down a water slide, you imagine her shooting through a birth canal.
Yeah. Well, remember, it's also she was born in that semen water. So.
So if it's like one of those rush ones, and it's like a blackout hole, you know, you've been down those are fun, and then it's like a lot of heavy foam.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite of a spring that would renew your virginity.
It's very drastically different. Yeah.
But I just thought that this was nice since we've sort of established that Hera and Aphrodite have a bit of a rivalry, and to think that to this day she's got like Hera has a small fountain in a nunnery,
and Aphrodite has a fucking water park.
Yeah, a beautiful water park too. I want to show you this video.
I want to go.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to go. So in the sieges.
So the next thing that I was going to talk about, and I'm surprised that I skipped this, is the story of Ixion.
Yeah, you skipped it.
Yeah, I sure did. And Ixion is someone. If you're listening right now, you might be like, "Why do I know that name?" It's because it gets referenced quite a bit. Sort of like the boulder pushing of Sisyphus and the grapes and water receding of Tantalus. Ixion and Ixion's wheel are like, it's like that's like the holy trifecta or unholy trifecta of tortures in Tartarus, and we just sort of skipped over Ixion. So Ixion was the king of the Lapiths, and they were the most ancient tribe of Thessaly. He was a son of many different choices of fathers, but most notably it was either Ares or Phlegius. And I think we talked about Phlegius before. He was entombed in a rock in the underworld as his punishment because he burnt the temple of Delphi. And he only burnt the temple of Delphi because Apollo sent someone to kill his daughter Coronis. So it was like done completely out of revenge.
I know you like your fucking dolphins.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I covered that in Twin Gods, the episode about Apollo and Artemis as well.
It never hurts to refresh because there's no way anyone remembers everything.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. But that story was basically Apollo loved Coronis, and Coronis, while she was pregnant with Apollo's child, fell in love with another man, and so Apollo was heartbroken.
So he had to kill her.
So he had to kill her, but he couldn't kill her because he didn't want to. He was like, I still love her. So he asked Artemis to do it.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to kill her. She can't have a new boyfriend.
And so Artemis killed her for him. And then her father sought revenge, burnt the Temple of Delphi, ended up entombed in Tartarus in a rock.
It's a whole thing.
Where he was like a rock that was also tortured by the Fury Megara.
A rock was tortured?
Uh-huh. You just kick that rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you know, Rock. Dip him underwater again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that was Phlegius. So regardless, though, Ixion was either Phlegius or Ares' child. Either way, he's in the line of Ares, so he has some godly ancestry. Ixion married Dia.
Medea.
Just Dia. He met Dia, and
then it was Medea.
Mhm.
That's Medea.
That's Medea right there. She was the daughter of Dionysus.
Stupid.
And when Ixion married Dia, he promised Dionysus a really valuable present. He said, "Don't worry. In exchange for your daughter, because she has property, I will give you something really nice, like that is equal or more value to you than your daughter."
Potato.
A single potato. However, he never ended up giving Dionysus a potato.
Well, I owe you.
So Dionysus came over to their house and was like, "How's my favorite daughter?"
Ooh, what an awkward conversation.
Yeah, how's my favorite daughter? Yeah, Ixion, you never gave me anything in exchange for my daughter.
Oh, I was gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just. Isn't it cool? Can I call you Dad?
Yeah, call me
We're
Dad.
family, we're
We're
family.
family. We're just like family.
So that'd be weird if I bought her. I was thinking because we're like close now.
Yeah. Hey, what's that over there?
Ooh.
And Ixion looked in the other direction, and Dionysus ran away and stole Ixion's horses as he left in retaliation.
All of them?
All of them. All three of them.
Okay.
Because as we've learned, one potato equals three horses equals one daughter.
Well, she's less than that, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was due interest.
That's true. Yeah. So Ixion pretended that he was okay with this.
It's fine. I love to walk to town when I buy groceries. I love carrying them. Yeah, it's great. You actually get a little rebate if you bring your own bag. So it's fantastic.
So he invited his father-in-law to a feast at Larissa. And there at Larissa, he, which I just assume is a person, not a place.
Not a restaurant.
Yeah. He laid a trap. And so when Dionysus arrived, Ixion was like, "Hey, Dad, it's really great to see you. Can I give you a hug?"
Oh, let me get off these 3 horses. I've been learning the splits. I have all these fucking horses now.
You're really talented. Can you just stand right here?
Yes. Are you going to take a photo?
I am going to take a photo. I just want to make sure that the lighting's really nice behind you.
Oh, please.
So please stand in front of this bed of burning coals.
Okay.
And as soon as he stands in front of the bed of burning coals and wood, he pushes him in and burns his father-in-law alive.
Just hot coals?
Hot coals and burning wood.
Oh, okay. I was like, hot coals not going to burn you.
Have you laid?
I've walked on them.
You have?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like every day uphill both ways to school?
No, I did it with my friend Chelsea Slarv, who listens to this. Chelsea Slarv. We were just weird girls, and we made hot coals on a hike one day. A bed of hot coals. So as long as you don't, because rocks aren't a conductor, so as long as you don't stand on something like metal,
yeah,
and you just keep moving along, you're fine. But I stepped on metal.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Well, other accounts add that in addition to killing his father-in-law, Ixion also killed his brothers Phorbas and Polymelos, and he did this in retaliation for killing their mother. So he had not only the blood of his father-in-law on his hands, but he also had the blood of
Who killed his mother?
His 2 brothers did.
Oh, so he killed his father-in-law, and then 2 brothers killed his mom.
Yeah, his 2 brothers.
Brother-in-laws.
His 2 brothers killed his mom earlier before this even happened.
Oh, okay.
And so he killed both of them as well.
So once you've had the taste of blood.
Yeah. So so that's just setting the stage of depending on different authors, it's he either just kills his father-in-law or he kills all 3 of these people. In any case, Ixion sort of slowly went mad because he was defiled by this act. Neighboring princes were so offended by this act of treachery of killing his father-in-law.
Ew. He burned him on the coals.
Particularly because this was in violation of the Xenia.
Yeah, no. If you eat, you can't kill.
Exactly.
Can't kill on a full belly.
This was actually we talked about this because I just came back from Scotland and I was talking to you about the Campbells and the MacDonalds, and how these old Scottish clans, how the Campbells invited the MacDonalds gave the Campbells food, and then the Campbells killed the MacDonalds anyway, and so there's like ancient clan beef between each other.
I think it's a general rule stemming from like all of Europe, because like Southern hospitality, they're always trying to feed you.
Yeah.
Now it can't kill me. Got some sweet tea.
That's exactly what. Put
the gun down. Have a little fried chicken.
Yeah, and my lemony drink.
Yeah.
So, because these other neighboring princes were angry at him, they refused to perform the rituals that would cleanse Ixion of his guilt and potentially return him to sanity.
Dip me in the Virgin River.
I found out that this ritual, by the way, that they were refusing to perform, was known
electric slide
was known as catharsis.
Oh.
Which is our root word for modern catharsis.
Well, yeah, it checks out.
Yeah. Ancient catharsis, however, is described as the result of measures taken to cleanse away blood guilt. This procedure is most famously described in Orestes by Aeschylus, and the procedure is as follows. You find the most darling, healthy little piglet that you can find. You slit its throat, you wash it over your body, the blood, and then afterwards running water washes away the blood, and that's supposed to make you all sane and better and absolved of your sins by adding more death.
Yeah, pig bath.
So
they still do that.
So next time you use the word like, wow, that really gave me catharsis in a sentence.
I'll imagine pig blood flooding over my head.
Exactly. So anyway, back to Ixion. Ixion then lived as an outlaw and was shunned by everyone in the world. By killing his father-in-law, Ixion was the first notable man in mythology, or in Greek mythology rather, to be guilty of kinslaying. And that alone would warrant him a terrible punishment. However, Zeus had pity for Ixion, and probably because he had some godliness in him, he had the line of Ares in his blood. So he brought him up to Olympus. He was like, "Yo, dude, we just really want you to get better. Like, we're gonna make a little rehab for you up here. Come on and stay at Olympus. It'll be great."
I have more people on my list to kill.
Okay, don't say that out loud. Hey everyone, this is my grandson or great grandson,
Kinslayer,
Ixion. And as soon as he got up there, he developed a raging hard-on for one of the goddesses.
Athena?
No.
Not Hera.
Hera.
No one wants to fuck her.
She was recently virginized again, and she was looking good. And very quickly it was obvious. Like, he just wanted to bone her. Like, he sat down right next to her. He started smelling her hair.
Oh, he was being a real Niles Crane. And that is the thing Niles says all the time. She is a goddess.
So Zeus found out about his intentions, and so he decided to trick him. He said, "Hera, go to your room."
Oh, I just came out.
I know, but go to your room. I'm gonna trick this guy into trying to have sex with you.
Using me?
Yes, using you.
Thank you for letting me participate.
Of course. Wait, let me take a little mental snapshot of you.
Yeah.
Click. I say click because I'm weird.
Yeah. Oh, I love that we're bonding. I love that we're getting along. Our marriage is awesome and very strong.
All right, get out of here. Bye. And then he pulls some clouds out of the heavens and he shapes them into his best idea of what Hera looks like.
Okay.
This cloud shape of Hera would become known as Nephili. And we've talked about Nephili before. And Nephili is the cloud nymph. And she was the mother of Phrixus and Helle, who were saved by the Golden Fleece. The goat went and saved them, and then Helle fell and died. So, yeah. Zeus then approached Ixion hand in hand with Nephili, who's made of clouds, and says, "Hey, I saw you, I and my wife. Guess what? This is a swingers party. Here's my wife."
Ooh.
And Ixion, instead of saying like, "No, king of the gods, I could never have sex with your wife," was like, "Great," and had sex with a bunch of clouds shaped like Hera.
Mm-hmm.
And this union, of course, immediately resulted in pregnancy, because it always does.
She doesn't feel like a virgin.
Feels like I'm just
feel much of anything.
just throwing my dick in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
And the union resulted in the birth of Imbros or Centauros, who would go on to mate with the Magnesian mares and create the race of centaurs.
Okay, that's weird that came out of a cloud.
Yep. Horses be coming out of everywhere. So,
okay.
You know.
Oh, so this was a horse, not a centaur.
He was a man.
Oh, he was a man.
He was a man, and he had sex with horses and created centaurs.
Oh, I wish he didn't do that to a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not. He's a cloud man.
Yeah. So Ixion then, because he had sex with a cloud with the intent of having sex with Hera, was expelled from Olympus by Zeus just walking over to him and saying, like, "Ixion, come here.
Why do you look like Chris Hansen right now?
Come here." And he put his hand on his chest.
I was just dropping food off here.
And he shot him out of Mount Olympus immediately with like a thunderbolt from his open palm. And
that's pretty tight.
As he fell from Mount Olympus, Zeus said, "Hey, Hermes, before that bastard hits the ground, bind him to a winged fiery wheel."
It was on fire.
I have one right here. It's always spinning. And
that's your wall art.
That's my wall art. Yeah, I know. I'm getting something new. I just got this Marilyn Monroe print from IKEA.
Oh, cute.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm redoing the place.
All right.
I also have this thing that says Paris.
I know just where to put that.
So Hermes flies down, attaches this burning fire wheel.
Excuse me, just give me your arm.
Just
move your leg a little lower. Thank you.
Just like this?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay. And scream.
All right. And this burning solar wheel flew across the sky, and that was his punishment, was that he was on this spinning fire wheel hurtling through the heavens for eternity.
What is that supposed to be?
What is that supposed to be?
Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to be nothing, because very quickly other storytellers and myth creators moved this punishment down into hell. They were they're like, what is that even supposed to be? There's nothing that does that in the sky. Let's put that in hell instead.
Okay.
And so that's the origin of Ixion's wheel. Ixion's wheel would spin for eternity and would stop only one time. What time did it stop?
Hercules?
When Orpheus played music in the underworld to rescue Eurydice, it was such a sad, moving song that even Ixion's wheel stopped turning for a brief second.
So he never gets rescued?
No, he never gets rescued.
Yikes.
No, it's just like Tantalus never gets rescued and Sisyphus never gets rescued.
Wow, just Prometheus.
Just Prometheus. So we have got 2 more duders to talk about. One of these guys, the first one I'm certain that I talked about, but I just don't feel like I did a very good job of talking about him.
I'm certain I don't remember.
Well, this is good then. If you remember this, I apologize that I'm covering again, but I do think that it's worth talking about again because it's so graphic, and I don't think that I really talked about it in terms of how graphic it was. I think it got sort of skipped over when I was talking about Demeter. This is the story of this is such a hard name for me to say. Erysicthon? Maybe. It is Erysicthon. He was the king of Thessaly, and he was sometimes called Ethan.
Let's go with Ethan.
Yeah. Ethan, that is Aethon. Ethan.
Oh, God. We had a Jason before. Is that going to be the only number one ever?
Yes. So this guy, he wanted to build a feast hall.
This fucking guy.
And so he thought the best place to do this would be in the
mall.
In the mall, in the sacred grove of Demeter. He's like, because there's already all those trees there. So let's cut them down and put a feast hall there.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So he sent all these men. All these men went and cut down all of Demeter's sacred trees, except for one, because there was one huge oak tree in the center that was covered with votive wreaths, and it was a symbol of every prayer that Demeter had granted. And so all of the men with their axes said, yo, Ethan, can't chop that tree down.
Oh, that's where I want my table, though. Like a big old table, though.
You could put it literally anywhere else.
But
there's barely anyone on the planet.
You know, you draw plans out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did it in pen.
Okay.
I can't I'm a visual.
Listen,
person.
Dude. Here's my axe. If you want to chop it down yourself, that's great. We chopped it down every other tree.
You're paid by the hour.
Yeah, I'm an OT right now.
All right, get out of here. Give me that axe.
All right. So Ethan walks over and he chops down the tree. There was a nymph or a dryad in the center of the tree, and he just like chops right through her waist. As he cuts down this tree. And as this dryad dies, she curses him and says, I will make sure you suffer. I just can't think of it right now because I'm bleeding out. But Demeter, you got that? You got that message?
Got it, girl.
All right, thanks, boo. And then the dryad dies. Mm-hmm. Demeter responds to this nymph's curse, and she punished him by talking to the spirit. Then this is a very specific spirit, the spirit named Limos, who is the spirit of unrelenting and insatiable hunger.
I know that one very well. I'm sure I said the same thing this episode.
And Limos was sent down and built a home inside of Ethan's stomach.
Oh my God, he got a tapeworm? I would love a tapeworm. You just fucking eat and eat and eat.
So food for him acted like fuel on fire, and the more he ate, the hungrier he got.
What's the curse?
Ethan then sold all of his possessions to buy food, but he was still hungry.
Yeah, so this is still my life.
At last, it is going to continue to be your life. At last, he sold his own daughter, Mestra, into slavery.
Yes.
Mestra,
for a pint of ice cream,
was gorgeous, and so while she's living as a slave, Poseidon was drawn to her beauty, and he said, "Poor slave girl, you hot?
Yeah, I am.
Do you want to get out of here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna have sex.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Well, I'm a god, so it's gonna happen. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were just going to help me out. Like you're just a nice person.
No, I'm not.
No, never. Okay.
After I do this though, it's gonna be wacky. Having sex with me is gonna give you a power. You're gonna be able to turn into any animal at any time. You're gonna be like
Rabbit.
like Beast Boy on the Teen Titans.
Cool. What's Teen Titans?
The Teen Titans.
Teen?
Teen.
Is that a show
It is a show
for children?
yeah. I was gonna be like, it's for adults, but no. So they do it, and immediately Mestra is given this shape-shifting ability, and so she turns into
I'm a bunny.
She turns into an octopus because she wanted to get out of her bonds. And then she changes back into a human, and then in order to run away, she turns into a stag and she leaps off, and she has no idea where to go. And so she returns home to her dad.
Ugh.
And
I
when
wouldn't do that.
he sees her show up, it's like a stag running towards him, and he's like, "Oh, food, food, food." And he like reaches towards the stag, and she like changes back to herself just in time, and she's like, "No, I'm your daughter. Don't close those chompers."
I'll still eat you.
And he says, This is the best thing ever. Mestra, I'm going to use you. You
already did that.
I know, but I'm going to use you to trick people into giving me money.
How?
So let me see you turn into like you're like the most prized horse I've ever seen in my life.
Shetland pony.
Shetland pony. Poof. She turned into a Shetland pony, and he's like, "Great, I'm going to sell you to someone."
Wow.
And then the moment that they get home, change into like a fly or something and just fly back to me, and we'll keep doing this so I can get money to buy food because I have to eat at all times.
And I can have half the money.
No, you can't.
Because I'm the one being sold.
Nope,
You've sold me before as a human.
No, that's not how this is going to work out.
I'm on board.
So they do this a few times. Ultimately, they discovered that no amount of food was ever enough. And Mestra got fed up. She took her show on the road and started doing circus acts across the country. I'm just making that up because no one knows what happens to Mestra. She's just a side character in the story. So with his daughter not returning one time, he's just chilling out there starving, and he starts thinking. He like taps his finger on his face. His finger accidentally goes into his mouth, and he's like, "Oh," bites off one of his fingers and just goes to town. That's how he dies.
Well, what can you eat other than your hands? What can you eat?
He ate himself. That's the way that it's described. Like he like eats his fingers, then his hands, then his like the meat off of his arm. Just like starts picking his own body clean.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. See, and that's why
he's a bad guy. I'm glad that he died.
Well, and that's why I don't think that I covered this very well before, right? Because like it is sort of a memorable.
Yeah, I remember this now.
Oh, you do remember it? Though.
No. I will forever now.
Okay, good.
I still remember what you told me 5 seconds ago.
Excellent.
But it's leaving.
So we have one more dude to talk about, and I thought that maybe we talked about this before, but it turns out that we talked about someone else who Dionysus didn't like. So now we're talking about Lycurgus. And Lycurgus was a king in Thrace. He was the son of Dryas, the oak. And he was a father to a son whose name was also Dryas. So he did that thing where he named his son after his dad. That was unusual. Lycurgus was one of those mortals who specifically didn't like one type of god. Like,
okay, he's a god racist.
Yeah, he really, like, people throughout Greece would say like, "Hey, we worship Athena here, but we still respect the other gods." He was someone who said, "Yeah, I worship all the gods except for Dionysus. I do not recognize him. I do not like him."
Oh, okay. He's just a prude.
Yeah. So when Lycurgus heard that Dionysus was in his kingdom, he saw the Maenads coming through with their drums and being like, sex party. And they were running through, and he said, stop it. And he took them by the hair and he dragged them down to his dungeons and he imprisoned them.
It's a dry county. Welcome to Utah.
No one dances here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw Dionysus approach, and he was like, you get out of here. And he the site that I that I researched this on said that he drove the rest of the Maenads and Dionysus out of Thrace with an ox goad, which is something that I can only assume is something that you like goad oxes with.
Get moving.
Get moving.
You won't.
Maybe a hot iron. Like maybe he was like gonna brand Dionysus, which I feel like Dionysus would be into.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Mark drunk on my ass. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he already has a tattoo of Steve-O's face on his back.
Well, yeah.
That's a deep
the
cut.
one true God.
So Dionysus fled. He was taking refuge in the undersea grotto of a sea nymph. And while he was there, he was thinking, how can I punish Lycurgus for making me leave?
He's not used to punishing people, right? Because he's a party boy.
Yeah. So he sent a bottle of wine that said "Sawi" on it that was on Lycurgus's doorstep, and it was a bottle of wine that was irresistible. Like as soon as you saw it,
$2 check.
You had to drink it. It was $2 check. Lycurgus opened this bottle of wine and he poured himself a drink, and he started to slowly go mad just from this very first drink of wine that he had. After that first drink, he was looking across his court and he saw the most beautiful young maiden that he had ever seen in his life. And he walked up to her and he said, "Yo,
what?
I rule this kingdom."
I'm on the phone.
Okay. Listen, we need to have sex. Like right now.
I'm gonna meet my friend right now. Oh, there she is. Linda, over here. This guy's talking to me so weird.
He quickly discovered, though, shaking off his madness for an instant, that it wasn't a beautiful young maiden that he was talking to. He was talking to his mom. And he tried, and he got very far into the act of having sex with his mom before he discovered this. And so he was like, "Whoa, this is fucked up. That whoever sent me that wine is evil. That wine is poison. We need to just I told you all this was a dry county. We need to chop down all of our grape vines and not make
So should
wine
I put
anymore."
my shirt back on? I was gonna go meet my friend Linda, and you stopped me, honey.
Put your shirt back on, Mom. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to Linda's now.
So he then proceeds to yell at his men to we got to chop down all these grapevines. And he's like, "I'm going to start with that big one."
What if we just didn't let the grapes age? We didn't smush them and turn them and
shut up.
Just ate them as grapes.
I am ruler. And he walked over and he's like, look at this vine over here. This is growing right in the middle of my court. We need to chop this down.
Can I just eat it?
No. And he takes out his hedge clippers and he starts pruning away this grapevine, but it's not actually a grapevine. It's his son.
Oh! It's
his son, Andreas.
My hair.
So
my nose.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. He mistook his son for a mature trunk of vines and pruned away his nose and his ears, his fingers and his toes, and his son just bled out in front. Why his son allowed first his nose to go? I understand the first chop being you're not actually gonna, oh my God, you chopped off my nose. Then you would run. But no, it was nose, ears,
Mm-hmm.
fingers, and toes. Like he really just stood there and took that. He's like,
Yeah.
there's no way he's gonna go for my toes next. Then his madness finally fully took hold, and his
Finally.
after that, because then his wife ran into the room and she's like, you killed our son? And she ran up and he saw her as one of the maenads that he had imprisoned in his jail escaping. And so he murdered her, just like right there in the middle of the court. The land, like his whole court probably just like let him do this. But then Dionysus's voice boomed across the sky, and he said, as long as Lycurgus is left unpunished for injustice, there will be a plague upon your land. Nothing will grow here. And so his people then said, like, all right. And they all gathered around him and picked him up and body surfed him over to like the side of a cliff, and then dropped him into a like a pit of man-eating horses.
This is how I've always pictured myself going out.
Crowd surfing and then being eaten by horses.
It's kind of full circle.
There is another version of this tale, though, however, where as soon as he drinks the wine, he sees a shrub of ivy growing right by his foot, and he goes to chop it and ends up cutting off his own foot. So then he bleeds out right there. And in that version, you know, he doesn't have sex with his mom, he doesn't kill his son, and he doesn't kill his wife. So
not as fun.
And with Lycurgus dead, Dionysus lifts the curse, and everyone lives happily.
Now, drinks at my place.
Now drinks at my place. So those were some like rando myths.
Those are fun.
Along the way.
Those are fun. Gotta say, I like dolphins. I like women that can shapeshift.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting your virginity back with a voodoo doll.
With a voodoo doll?
Well, that's what you said. They like voodoo dolls that they would wash.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If any of you guys have a doll of me out there, don't bother.
Yeah, who would want it back?
I basically have it back.
But who?
Who would want any of this? All right. That was interesting. I liked all the ones. I think these ones will stick because it wasn't just like one solid story through and through. They're little vignettes I liked.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's easier to hold on to mythology when it's told in little vignettes, because I think that's sort of classically how it would have been told anyway. Like even with a big story like the Trojan War, they'd be like, hey, you know that war that happened in Troy? Yeah. Okay, so there's this part of it that I really like. And I sort of think that that's how the stories were originally told, were in little bits like that. Like, I'm going to tell you all about the Amazon who fell in love with Achilles and then got a spear in the neck. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, please stop posting your Trojan spoilers on Facebook.
I'll try not to.
Opening weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Whoa, this summer, cool down with the fam.
Whoa.
What? No, keep going.
You might have heard of Aphrodite's water park in Pathos. That ain't no fun.
Do you want to swim around a lot of jizz? That's what that water park is. Fuck jizz.
Fuck jizz. Instead, why don't you head over to Hera's fountain in a nunnery?
Do you want a virginity grotto? We got it.
We got a virginity grotto. Get your own statuette of Hera.
We got water. We got hymens. we have lukewarm temperatures.
We got this kind of corner of a well that will make you feel like, boy, I've never had sex.
Yeah, it's fun for the whole family, but maybe don't mention the powers to the kids. It's kind of weird.
Your kids will be virgins again. All right. That was definitely our loosest commercial we've ever done.
Oh, and yet our tightest.
Well said. Well, I hope that you had a good time listening to today's episode about all of these rando people that terrible things happen to.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can always find us on social media, Instagram and Twitter at _myth_understood. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Sarah Oliver, and you can find that thing at the Paul Bianchi, just on Insta.
Just on Insta.
And guys, the number one thing that you can do if you love our podcast is rate us on Apple iTunes, preferably 5 stars, and leave a review. Rate us, leave a review. It helps people find us. It helps us keep making these things.
As always, we are part of the Dragon Wagon Radio Network. If you would like to follow this lovely independent podcast network, you can follow us at It's Dragon Wagon on all social media platforms. And if you would like to show your support, you can always, aside from just going to the shop, you can go to dragonwagonradio.com/support. Sarah just
Took a big glass of water.
just drank a glass of water.
All right, guys, we'll see you never, but you'll hear us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Was the name signed to the world's most famous plays and poems a pseudonym? Was the man from Stratford that history attributed the works to even capable of writing them? Who was Edward de Vere, 17th Earl of Oxford, and is there any chance he was the actual author of those legendary works? Who was the writer behind the pen name William Shakespeare? Join me, Stephen Sable, as me and my fellow Oxfordians set out to answer all of those questions and many more on Don't Quill the Messenger, Revealing the Truth of Shakespeare Authorship, found right here on Dragon Wagon Radio or wherever podcasts are found.
It's Dragon Wagon.